you'll really feel the pull of the band pulling your shoulder blades together. There might be some stickier points that you'll feel like you're going to wobble through like this.
All right, so I'm Leo, I'm here with Ninja, and we're going to talk about some scap humeral rhythm, pretty much the motion of the scapula and the shoulder blades. So as you can see over there, it's a floating joint surrounded by a lot of different muscles that impact the shoulder blade. So up into the neck here, through the bottom here, up into the arm as well. And if you come over here and look at the skeleton, although it's bolted in right here on the ribs, this is not an accurate representation of how it is in the human body. So it actually floats across the back of the ribs here. And if you have a look on Marcus here as well, moving his shoulder blades, you can see all that range of motion that can be sort of found in the shoulders. So typical test we can do here to assess scapular rhythm is just get Marcus to obviously stand where he is, turn the palms out like that, and slowly just come into some abduction of the arms. And if you really kind of focus in here, you can come back down, Marcus, slowly. Maybe a bit quicker than that, mate. Yeah, there it is. A little bit of joltiness here at the bottom. Go up one more time, Marcus. And back down at that same pace. Just try and look at the differences in sides here. So a little bit of joltiness just at the bottom there. So we can probably improve that. We'll do a little bit of treatment. And then most importantly as well, we'll go downstairs into the gym and we'll work on some activation to kind of bring some better function to those areas. So
sounds good.
We'll get you face down, Marcus. The alter ego. All right, we'll just start without. So we'll do our traditional opening sequence. Start up right here against the cervical spine and just sink in to the musculature here next to the spine. So a lot of the muscles here kind of tie down and go right past the shoulder blade through here. So we just want to warm up that area first. How's that feeling in there, Marcus?
Got some feedback. I could feel that spine.
Some clients will hold their tongue, others will,
Let it out.
will let it out.
Vent.
So just trying to stay connected here. Most important stroke is the first one when we start. Just connecting right into the skeleton.
Yeah. Don't get another chance of first impression, do ya?
No, got to make it count.
Yeah. It's got to be confident, connected. Yeah, it just says so much. Yeah, and you can feel like I'm getting a lot of awareness about where I've got tension. That you just can't get that awareness from just moving. When you really push into the tissue, there's an understanding gained, and how the pains in the tissue, that's just information, and we're putting light onto it, because when you don't have that push into it, and it's just you're in the dark, so it's like light is information. So we're kind of trying to spread these tissues as well, so that there can be more light captured where it's stuck and stagnant and blocked. And
that's it. So at the moment, there are some of the rhomboids that I'm getting through here as I get into some of the thoracic vertebrae. So pretty much responsible for bringing the scapulas together. What's that motion called? Retraction? Retraction. So that's where there was a bit of joltiness on the way down with Ninja. So we're just sifting through those muscles there. So a lot of the time, because some of these muscles here are kind of combined with the muscles that go up into the neck and head, there can be sort of overcompensation patterns that happen as a result. And typically, it seems to be an area that, a lot of stress and tension can be held. And so sort of with that stress and that tension, some muscles might, particularly the traps, actually, they seem to be the culprit usually, wouldn't you say, Ninj?
Yeah, that's where humans generally hold a lot of their tension is in the shoulders, and
Yep.
and it can be representative of like financial and relationship stuff as well. So you kind of, a lot of times when you have that realization, the things are going on that you can't really understand. You lift your shoulders up, you can't understand, you don't know, or you don't want to hear. You're kind of trying to cover your ears. So there's like this unconscious body language that we exhibit, and then that's, there's that pains and the stress and the dysfunction. It's just information, to tell us that we're not understanding things, and that's where we should direct some focus and attention to work it out, or to do some different actions. It's a different perspective for a start, but then some actions that'll help unravel that tension. So yeah, like treatment and movement and things like that. Nature connection, social connection.
Speaking of connection, Ninja, how's this one feeling here on the medial border?
Good, just there. A matter of fact, is a good spot. You're sort of on right now. So yeah, that word connection is imperative in this work, that I'm sensing as a receiver, or I'm sensing that you're connected and that you're tuned in. So I can sense that you're kind of stopping and waiting on stuff that's blocked, and then you're cruising over the stuff that's sort of pretty healthy. So it's
Copy. I'm just going to sink out of that one.
Yeah.
Because I reckon we can have a go at this shoulder blade just to get a better view of the camera. And just for you guys watching, we're just up here on the medial border of the scap. And I'll point you over to this direction here too. So where this muscle, the left scap, attaches, so that's where Marcus was getting a lot of grief. And that's also another muscle that kind of works in conjunction with the traps to elevate the scapula like this. So we want to just, melt a bit of that away and just bring some range and function back to that zone. So I'm going to start on the right one, Ninja.
Yeah.
And we're already on that point.
Bit of spice in there.
A bit of curry, a bit of spice.
A few chilies.
A few jalapenos.
Yeah. It's good though. You know it's good. It's good. When it's slow, you can kind of receive it, accept it. You don't have to fight or run away. Yeah, it gives the body time to receive it, but also to respond, to melt. We're encouraging it to melt and to flow better. So yeah, I've got some old scars in the shoulders, from probably 30 odd years ago. So it actually conjures up a few memories, takes you directly back to those times when I was playing footy back in Tasmania and out in the potato paddocks. There wasn't much grass on the fields back there. It was pretty wet. And, wow, that's a great spot.
So I just sunk out with the pizzy form, and I was able to quickly replace it with the thumb.
Yeah. That spot is
nailing it. Swift move.
Yep.
What's the worst injury you did with the shoulder? Any dislocations at all, or
I broke the left collarbone, but this right one, dislocated, and I've told the story before, but I was sort of having a dog of a day, and I thought it was wet and cold, and I was playing against lots of potato farmers, and they were all just, very barrel-like guys. And
the Potato Farmer League.
Oh, jeez, they were big, heavy-set guys, and all they did was farming and that. And I just said, oh, shit, I'm having a shit day. I'm just going to go in hard and have a tackle. And I tried to do like a spear tackle on one of these heavy-set blokes, and just went straight in like that, and just my shoulder just copped it, and I just
ran to the barrel.
I didn't come up too well, and I was like for 6 weeks I couldn't play because I couldn't put my hand above my head, and it was very ginger, very tender, and I've still got all this sort of crepitus when I try to do that, move my scapula across my ribs. It just sort of, there's scarring underneath there that it just makes a noise. So.
But in terms of function and pain, you're pretty good now?
Yeah, I think it's because of getting treatment like this, but also just I'm always moving, always
Moving the body.
hanging, sprinting,
Yep.
doing the pull-ups and the dips and push-ups, things like that. And
Absolutely.
climbing is really, it stops the rot, doesn't it? But it helps clean out the rust and the
Yeah,
cobwebs
and I
and
think it
stuff.
also just teaches your body to be functional in those movements, you know. And
Yep.
I think the more we kind of rest things, we're you know, teaching our body to rest or not go through those ranges, you know, and so our
Yep.
body starts to lose function or lose range of motion, you know.
Yep.
You know, I think, yeah, we're conditioned a bit that way, you know, by our medical professionals sometimes when we get injured, and sometimes the best advice is to rest or, you know, not move that in its full range of motion or kind of be careful with it kind of thing. And all we're really doing is putting that stimulus into our bodies or into that joint.
Yep.
And with that kind of mindset and that stimulus, we can't really expect to regain function if we're not actually putting our body through those ranges. So it can seem paradoxical or sort of contrary to what you might think is required, but movement is really, really key to sort of remedying musculoskeletal injuries. So we'll go through a few things at the end as well to bring some information to this area. And just knuckle down on that philosophy of movement as a key component to the treatment plan.
Yeah. Movement is medicine.
Yeah.
And like when you move too, you don't have to move with intensity and load. You can just be more explorative and, you know, of range and kind of to get information about how it is functioning, and like that is healing in itself because you're bringing blood to the area and like synovial fluid to the joints and things like that just by moving.
Yep.
You know, so and just sort of that nervous system stimulation, blood flow, it just all helps the healing. Because if you're stagnant, you can become like a cesspool sort of thing,
Yep.
like a pond. You know,
Blood is a life force, man.
It
as
is,
you're
yeah.
saying. It's got all the healing properties or the properties required for regeneration of cells and tissues.
Yep.
And obviously the synovial fluid as well. You know, the more we move our joints, the fuller ranges we move our joints, we can sort of lubricate our joints with that fluid, you know.
Yep.
And if we're not, then we're not going to be getting that, you know, that range or that fluid or that healing. So yeah, Marcus is getting a bit more spicy through here.
Yeah.
So this is the upper trap we're kind of working through, just along the sort of spine of the scap. So we're probably catching a bit of supraspinatus as well, which is responsible for the upward shoulder movements that Marcus was doing to start with. So it's a good one to catch on the way up into the scapula here.
It's good there.
Right along the spine of the scalp. So yeah, just listening into client feedback and just saying it's good there. So we'll just hang out here for a sec. Just allow him to breathe and dissipate some of that tension. More importantly, it really is about the out breath as well. Not even being a breath, even just like a sigh of relief almost, you know. Not really forcing anything, but kind of just letting go. Especially with, you know, tension, as we were talking about, Marcus, in this area. You know, if we're used to kind of, you know, being tense, it's really kind of like a metaphor for holding on, yeah?
Yep.
And so I guess the antidote to that would be letting go in a way.
Yep.
And again, that's a skill, I guess, that needs to be practiced. So
Yep.
a really good way to do that or to start practicing that skill is to work on breath or breath control or literally letting go of the breath, you know, rather than sort of forcing it out. There's something therapeutic that kind of comes along with a sigh rather than, you know, like a forced exhale, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah, when you breathe out, your body relaxes, doesn't it? It's got to let go. So when you're holding your breath, you're kind of tense, or you're breathing in, it's more of a tensing thing, but then the outward breath is like a relaxation. So it's hard to be tense when you're doing a big outward breath.
That's it. So I'm going to get stuck back in at this medial border again. It always seems to have some chili in it, man.
Yeah, some jams. Gypsies.
So gypsies.
Settled in. Gonna move them on. Time to go.
Speaking of chili, man, I was making some oats the other day, and I just put some rice milk in this oat mix that I had, and I usually top it off with some cinnamon.
Yeah.
And I reached into like my herb cabinet, and I grabbed the chili by mistake, and
Yeah.
I sprinkled a whole bunch of chili on
How'd
my
it
oats,
taste?
man. I realized I caught myself, you know, and I managed to kind of spoon a couple spoonfuls out, you know, but I left a bit in there. There's only so much you could get out. Thankfully, I don't mind a bit of chili, so it just spiced up my breakfast a little bit that morning, man.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Increase your metabolism.
That's it. So yeah, this is a really, really important line. That lev scap that I was talking to you about, the one that runs from the medial border all the way up to the mastoid process here, we can literally follow that line if we've sunken in deep enough, which I feel that I have here, based on how I'm feeling and also the reaction that Ninja's given me on the table here.
Yeah, it was right in close to that scapula where the heat was. That's fine there.
Cool.
Attachment is the source of suffering. Buddha.
Work on those muscle attachments. Probably didn't have enough oil on that one, but that's all right.
No, it's fine. It's nice and slow and engaged.
Yep, so we'll finish up against those suboccipitals. I'll just start back in at the CX spine again. And this time we'll work our way up. So we're still catching some of the upper traps up here, as well as some of the deeper neck muscles also on our way up. A few kicks at the end there.
Yeah, just to express it a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of times I reckon as a receiver you can express and it doesn't actually eventuate to be as intense as you think it's going to be, and it just, I think that just movement helps you kind of receive it and let it in, surrender, you know, and a little bit of distraction from your
Distraction, that's what it is, I think.
and then you kind of just, the work gets done still, you can still receive the
How's
treatment.
that feeling at the top here, at the base of the skull?
Yeah, probably should get
Yeah.
more towards when you really connect to that base of the skull, that's where the real carry is. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this
You're
is payback
engaging.
from my practitioner training, man. I remember this one bugged me the most, so
Yeah.
gone in with a double thumb here.
Yeah, you've had lots of treatment off me.
I have,
Yeah, we did like 60 hours of filming
man, yeah.
for a practitioner course, so
So you can imagine coming from the best, man. I was put through a lot, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of chili, a lot of curry, man, that I had to
Yeah.
get out of my body too.
yeah.
All right, let's finish with. We'll do a bit of infra. So just on the sort of distal side of the spine of the scap, we can kind of sink in here and just trace along the underside of that spine. How you feeling in here, Ninj?
Yeah, good mate. That's
Right in there.
that's pretty good. There's no drama. You're the human anatomy, aren't you? Yeah,
Yeah, man.
like there's no fat on you, brother. We
Nah.
can see every striation,
Pretty much, man.
every fibre.
I think down to 8.5%
Yeah,
at my lightest or lowest body fat percentage.
yeah. I think I got down pretty low too. Like after our 8 week
Yeah.
advanced fitness stuff, I think I was around 11 or something. Was
Yeah, I think if you're not dropping fat in the advance, man, you're doing something wrong.
yeah,
Those of you who haven't checked it out, or if you want to drop some body fat percentage, man, and get a bit leaner, check out the advanced training.
it's a challenge. That's what it's about. 8 week challenge, you know, to get through. So yeah, it was unreal. It was such a good bonding experience as well as the physical challenge, wasn't it? To get through and endure
Absolutely.
the whole thing. So got to have challenges. Got to have things to aspire towards.
Yep, and overcome as well.
Yeah, mate. That's what it's all about. It's what makes things meaningful, isn't it? Like overcoming things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're not just here for a cushy ride. It's not the way this universe works. It's off and on, zeros and ones, isn't it? You've always got to another side to things. You don't have a one-sided coin. That's a source of suffering as well. We're always seeking, you know, pleasure without suffering and things like that, you know. So it's like
yeah, we need the suffering to experience or to appreciate the pleasure or the good.
Yeah.
So in a way, we've got to appreciate the suffering as well.
Yeah. And you can kind of reframe that as well, and it's a learning thing, and it's a challenge, and it's opportunity to realise things and to change it and make it better.
Yeah, that's what I meant by appreciating the suffering.
Yeah.
You don't have to love it, but you learn that there's reason for it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can create some meaning out of that. All right, we'll finish with this stroke, I think, and then we might head downstairs and get some activation into these shoulders. All right, cool. So we've done with the cleaning phase. We're here to build now and just get some activation, some blood, some awareness in the shoulder blades. So Marcus, jump up, grab the bar, man. So he's just going to come to a dead hang here, which is just literally holding on and letting the body hang as he is. But now we can bring some activity to it. So as you can see, he's kind of depressing his shoulder blades, pulling them down and still hanging. And can you just passive again, Marcus, drop down, yep. And then back up again. Cool, hold there. Can we straighten this forearm a bit? Yeah, can we come locked in like that? Better. Drop down and back up. Yeah, that's it right there. One. Yep. Hold there. A little bit higher with the right shoulder than the left. So there's some function that we can, improve in there. He said that this one was his more sort of bung shoulder, right? That one.
Yeah, this
that
left
one
lower one's hurting
that
me.
one's the one that's got a lot of the stuff in it. So yeah, that's probably the last of the progression. So we can regress that if we don't have that sort of function. We'll take it outside.
Wow, beautiful day.
Check this out, man.
Why wouldn't you come outside?
Why wouldn't you? All right, so we'll start tabletop. So some people don't have that ability to hold themselves in that active position with their whole body weight. So we can take the body weight out of it. We'll just get Marcus coming into a tabletop position here on all fours. So maybe get your knees a bit more under your hips and your hands a bit more under your shoulders. Perfect. Now the cue here is to kind of screw the biceps forward so you can kind of get that locked in position. And what I want you to think of doing is pushing your sternum up through your chest, man. Really rounding through there. We can even drop the head as well. And as you can see, the shoulder blades are just spread at their maximum point across the rib cage. Really important to kind of work into those end ranges. So the opposite of that is shoulder retraction. We want to squeeze the shoulder blades together. As you can see, maybe Lee, you can come up from the top here, man, and just see the shoulder blades move. So they're coming together. Really important to kind of squeeze that away. Tuck those here, lats down. Squeeze those rhomboids together. And then again, coming back up like that. So you just see the spreading of the shoulder blades. All right, so that's the retraction, protraction. If we come back to a neutral position here, what we can do is depression and elevation. So lats engaged, pulling the shoulder blades back and down. And then the opposite, which is the traps, so elevating the shoulder blades like that. Perfect. Just keep the neutral position though. Yeah, and elevate through like that at the top. Perfect. So we can kind of swing through both. If you can kind of pull them back and forward again. Cool, and back. And try and keep that position. Don't put the sternum up, but bring the shoulders forward. Yeah. So this is some function we can work on here with Ninja. Sometimes when he's coming forward, he's also hinging and pushing up through his sternum. But if we can keep that neutral, push forward with it. Yeah, that's it right there. So that's the elevation that we want to cue separately to elevation or depression. And then back into depression. Perfect. Now keeping it in depression, we can come up with the shoulders. So we're in depression and we're in protraction as well. Keeping protraction, we can come forwards with the shoulders. So we're in protraction and we're in elevation as well. While we're in elevation, we can depress the shoulders coming into this depression here or this retraction of the shoulder blades. So we can work on those movements. Leo, if you want to have a look at me, man, we can get it a bit smoother like this. So we can come up and down and
take your shirt off, brother. Come on.
Yeah, the sun's out, man.
Come on, sun's out, guns out. Let's see it.
So have a look. Protraction, retraction, elevation, depression, and we can slowly come into this kind of fluid movement, you know, at the end. So it's really important that we learn all those movements of the shoulder blades, restore proper function in our shoulders, and just bring some awareness and balance away from our kind of tension storage and kind of open up through the chest and through the back.
All right, so one more thing to show you, more of an active one, a bit more active. They're called shoulder dislocates. We're not actually dislocating our shoulders, but you know, close to. It's essentially end range shoulder blade motion. Just want to start here, pull on the band, forehead down on the ground, and just work into your shoulders. You'll really feel the pull of the band pulling your shoulder blades together. There might be some stickier points that you'll feel like you're going to wobble through like this because you don't have the strength, but they're the points that we really want to slow down through and trying to control every degree of motion through the shoulder blades. Again, it comes back to what we were talking about before. If we're not able to teach our bodies or to express movement or to go through ranges of motion in our body's going to lose that function. So literally treat every degree as an opportunity to be able to control the function actively rather than letting the band kind of pull you through like this. You know, be strong in every single degree of motion.
Yeah, pain-free in that movement.
Pain-free. So ideally, if you do have pain there, hold the band a bit wider. The closer you hold it, the tighter it's going to be on your shoulders. But you want to work at that sort of balance point where you can encounter a little bit of tension, maybe a little bit of pain, and kind of teach your body to be comfortable there. And it's again through that activation that we can achieve that. So
Yeah.
that's it, Marcus. Did you want to give it a go?
I don't know. Where did you have it?
Yeah. So you want to just hold it maybe around here. So hold
Thumbs?
it in your fists, like that. Hold it like that. Yeah, perfect. So just come forward with your arms. Yep. Hold it a bit. Yeah, there. Perfect. Now bringing your shoulders back. Really squeeze that band. If you're wobbly, squeeze even harder. That's it. It really forces your shoulder blades to be together. Keeping the forehead on the ground means you don't cheat through your chest or abdomen as well. Really good. And now back all the way through. Try and keep it a bit smoother, Ninja. All the way to the ground, and one more time. So really seeing if you can keep those wobbles to a minimum. Fight through those ranges. Really, really good. One rep, even as you can see, or even here, Marcus is really kind of having to force or control his breath because it is quite an intensive movement. Ugh. All right, come back down and let go. Stand up for us, Ninj. How does that feel, or what are your shoulder blades feeling like right now? Are they feeling warm? Are they feeling kind of, what do you feel in there?
It's good. Like, yeah, it's just a really good like awareness exercise for me and coordination. So I suppose for me, I've been more a global movement kind of person. I would just do the gross move and just throw the ball and things like that. So breaking things down really heightens my awareness of how my body is functioning. And
that's, I think, really what this exercise is trying to achieve. For a lot of people who don't have that function there, or people who don't participate in sports or exercise as much as they should, or even have work or work in positions that are always forward, sitting down, for example, people who are working 8 hours a day, they kind of lose the function of those shoulder blades or their hips. And so this exercise really just brings that awareness, to ourselves, and it's almost like, oh, holy shit, my shoulder blades are here kind of thing. So you're probably feeling quite warm or quite sort of activated through there, and it really kind of is that awareness to realize, okay, this is where my shoulders are in space. So try that on for size and see how you go.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Shedding light on where it was dark for me. I didn't even know I had some spots in my left shoulder. It was a little bit of pain doing some of that stuff. And you just don't know until you actually dive in and explore it. And
yeah, so come check it out. That's generally what treatments are all about, especially with me. We kind of clean first is our philosophy here, and then we try to build second, which is bring some awareness, some activation, and some attention and some blood to those areas that require it. All right. Done.
Come and see this bloke. Get it dark.